Player profiles as we profiled Northwest High School alum, University of Arkansas alum, Jared Gates. Welcome to the show.
Donald, thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm happy to have you here this morning. Thank you for coming in on this nice cold morning, taking some time right after Thanksgiving. I really do appreciate that. Thank
yes,
you.
sir. Happy to be here.
So, you were 6A Player of the Year at Northwest High School. I believe it was your junior year. What was that experience like?
Man, I mean, obviously, I had a good year. Really don't know what was working or what was clicking at the time. It just seemed to all the hits seemed to fall, and you look at the stats, and it's like, oh, that's a pretty good number. So I didn't know if I didn't know I was gonna win the award. I don't know. They gave it to me, so that was exciting. It was a good year. I mean, I don't think we made the state that year, so it was disappointing. Oh no, we did. My mistake. We did make the state,
okay.
But we lost in the first round. So that was more disappointing. Than that pretty much highlights that year more than the award, I would say.
Right.
But
team concept.
Yeah, exactly.
So from there, you moved on to Iowa Western, which is it was and probably still is one of the most predominant JUCOs in the country. How was that experience there? Because I know here you were a shortstop. Over there, you transferred over, I believe, to second and third.
Yeah, mostly second.
Mostly second. So you had to play a different position. You could hit, so you could get your bat on the field. You guys made it to the World Series?
Yeah, twice.
Twice. Explain that. How was that road there, and then going on to the World Series?
Yeah, so I went to Iowa Western as a freshman. Obviously, first probably 2 months, I got my teeth absolutely kicked in. Like, I thought I didn't belong, man. It was tough. I mean, obviously they're a top program. I knew what I was getting myself into, but man, I guess I just didn't know the reality of college baseball at the time. Man, it was tough, man. It was tough. But yeah, after I got through it, man, I struggled. I was low. Probably the lowest point of my career is just the first couple months. Just trying to adjust. The speed of the game was so fast, but I stuck with it. Had a good spring. I mean, the whole experience up there is just awesome, man. We get after it every day and get better. So it was fun. So it was hard, but it was tough. But those 2 years there, I could have gone another 2 years after that. But it's JUCO, so I had to transfer.
Right.
So,
how was the experience in the World Series, though, the JUCO World Series?
Yeah, the World Series, man. It was incredible because, I mean, I'd never played in front of more than probably 50 to 100 fans, just parents and relatives. So we get to the JUCO World Series, you're playing in front of 8,000, 10,000, even 12,000 people. So it's like, that's incredible. And then you get your own baseball card, man. It's pretty cool. You're playing for a World Series.
Yeah.
So I mean, that in itself is all. It's what you want. And then obviously everything around is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So.
Coach Reardon. What do you think of Coach Reardon? I like the guy. I
love him, man. I got nothing bad to say about him. Intense dude. He will get after you, but genuinely cares about you. Like, man, he made me into a ball player. Like, I think if I don't go to Iowa Western, I don't go to Arkansas. I don't do what I did. I don't play pro ball. I don't do anything about Coach Reardon.
Wow.
So he made me into a hell of more man than a baseball player. So that says a lot about him. So.
Yes. Well, and you brought up Arkansas. You moved on to the University of Arkansas, and they moved you to first base. And I know you probably didn't really play first at all growing up, but what was that like? What was the experience at Arkansas like? A game there, what's that like?
Yeah, so first couple weeks at Arkansas, I'm at second base. I was second baseman at JUCO.
Yep.
You look at shortstop, there's 5 or 6 guys in line at shortstop. There's 5 or 6 guys at second, and third and first base I only had 2 or 3. So I was like, I struggled early again at Arkansas. I'm like, man, I'm gonna go to third or first because there's only 2 or 3 guys here. So I think I made myself into a corner guy.
Okay.
Or I mean, the numbers were against me, I guess.
Right.
So I was like, I'm gonna try to play third or first, and that's what I did. And then a game there is insane. Those fans are probably, actually, I'm not even gonna say probably, they are the best fans in college baseball. They're crazy, and in a good way. So you got 10,000 fans on a Tuesday, a midweek Tuesday. So that's pretty insane. So it's hard to describe that feeling. Like my heart was pounding out of my chest. First time I was in a game at Arkansas. Never, nothing like it.
So would you say your experience, so like you played here your whole life growing up in Wichita, and you went from here to Iowa Western, and from Iowa Western to Arkansas. Do Do you think you were ready for that jump from here to Iowa Western, and then do you think you were ready from Iowa Western to Arkansas?
Ready is a tough word because I don't know if you're ever truly ready.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of get thrown into the fire and it's like sink or swim. So I was the most ready you probably could be. Just the coaches I played for growing up, played for Stanford throughout high school.
Yep.
I was probably the most ready you could be playing for sluggers and whatnot. And that's kind of the thing. You want to go to a school that's going to ready you for the next level. So yeah, I would say Iowa Western made me the most ready for Arkansas. But still, I mean, I was like a chicken with his head cut off the first couple of weeks trying to figure things out. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Oh, no, it does.
But ready, I would say I was ready
What
to
kind
embrace
of
the challenges.
So what kind of things would you do? Let's say as a high school kid going, get ready to go to Iowa Western to get ready to go there as an example. What were you trying to do? Was there something daily, weekly? What was it?
I mean, of course, daily. I mean, you set goals, and everyone does that. But I mean, it was more the mindset to me. It was like, you're really not that good, or you know, like someone's out there getting better than you right now. And I know that sounds cliche, but like, dude, opening weekend, like I'm not gonna get embarrassed by that other team.
Right.
So like that means I gotta work in December or January, you know. So that doesn't happen. I mean, obviously everyone gets up for game week and the month before game day, like that's exciting, obviously, but really the work's done before that. So I guess I don't know where I picked that up from, but I'm glad that I learned that at an early age. And so the preparation was, I think games were won in December. So
Right.
I guess that work ethic maybe readied me more than I guess helped me, I guess.
Right, getting ready to go to work hard.
Exactly.
'Cause I know your class and the classes in your time frame there, those guys are always working.
Exactly.
A lot of dudes are in here working.
So your
all the
peer
time.
group are working, and it's
Yeah.
like those guys go to Bishop Carroll. Like I don't want to lose those guys.
Right.
Those guys are in there hitting every day. So it's like,
Right. So let's talk about the College World Series for the University of Arkansas. You guys made it your senior year, and you had some dudes on your team. I mean, your shortstop was a freak. Pretty sure your second baseman was pretty damn good. How was that for you? How was that experience playing in Omaha?
I feel like it's every baseball kid. You grow up a kid, that's your dream almost. So to sit up here and say it wasn't a dream come true would be a lie. So it was everything you could ever imagine in times 100. So yeah, and then talk about the dudes I played with. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, how am I out there with those guys? I mean, you got first round picks, $1 million players out there, and it's like I'm surrounded by insane talent. I mean, it's a good experience. It was fun.
So I hate to bring this up, but I think everybody would want to hear about the play to pop up. What happened on that play? What transpired on that play in foul territory?
I mean, that's a tough question because
Because it could have been one of any
just
three
like,
people ball.
Yeah, I mean, to me it was in that moment. I guess, of course, the weight of the situation is massive. But in the time, it's like it's just another play.
Yep.
Honestly, I mean, you get to that point where it's just another play. You got to execute.
Yep.
Okay, so to really know what was going on, I guess, I mean, it was just another fly ball down the right field line. I mean, that's all it was.
Yeah.
And it dropped.
And
And it dropped a couple times in practice. I mean, we dropped those all the time in practice. I mean, we didn't even, like, it dropped, and it's like, yeah, we probably should have caught it. One of us should have caught it, obviously. But we were like, okay, we're one strike away from winning this thing still. So, and then everyone looks back to that play, but it's like,
right, everybody you can.
I mean, yeah, that would have won the game. But you go blame anybody, that's ridiculous.
Right, I agree 100% with you. Because I know you as a person. I know you probably took it to heart. You know, you would have wanted to make that play if you could. I know that. I guarantee your second baseman, your right fielder would want to make that play if they could. But the mentality afterwards was, let's just move on to the next play.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how it was all year. So it's obviously people point to that play. I really don't.
No, you can't.
So it's like people ask me. I mean, obviously people ask me all the time, like, dude, what happened? I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, foul ball. I'm like, which one? There's a million of them. Okay, obviously I know what you're talking about.
Right.
But that's really how I treat it, though.
There's a bats there. Someone should have got ahead.
Yeah.
Striking out.
There's so many moments.
So many. You're
But
right.
yeah, it's
100%.
easy though. It's easy to point to that one point.
Oh, it
and say,
is. It is.
Y'all blew it. No, well, we didn't execute the next pitch either.
Mm-hmm.
or 2 innings before we didn't cash in guy on third. Well, that you point to that play, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, that was
I hear you.
I don't know.
So you moved on to the Baltimore Orioles, and you were in low A, right?
It was rookie ball.
Rookie
Yeah.
ball. What was that like? What was that? That's another level.
Yeah.
It's a different level. So explain that experience.
So I'll back up. Man, I thought I was done playing after College World Series because I didn't get drafted. So to get the call from the Orioles was one of the coolest things that I've ever probably experienced. Getting that call saying, "Hey, man, you want to come play pro ball?" Of course. Like, so that whole thing was, if I don't go do this, because I was content with not playing. You know, I've already crossed that bridge. You know, I thought I was done. So, but getting that call was like, man, you want to come play professional baseball? It was like, it is different. It was a different feeling. So that whole time down there, I spent 2 months down in Florida playing rookie ball, and that was a good time. I mean, I got guys down there that are friends. I still talk to those guys. I spent 2 months down there, so good time. I mean, I get to tell my kids that I played pro baseball.
Yes.
So I mean, that's something I take to my grave.
Yeah. So explain the phone call from the Baltimore Orioles. Phone call from Jake Jones to come play in the NBC last year. Which one was more exciting?
Man, they're the same. It's hard to pick one. It's hard to pick one. But yeah, I got the phone call from you.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, you want to come swinging? And then I don't think Jake was fully on board yet. And he was like, man, that's one of my best friends. But like, Tano's already asked him if he wants to come in. So I don't know, man. That was cool though. Playing like, because once you retire, you just miss. Obviously, you miss the competition part.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get that other ways. I play a lot of golf, so I get that competition part.
Right.
I don't get the being around the guys part. You know, being part of the team. You know, being in the clubhouse. Like that's the part like that I miss the most. And I feel like most people. I'm not alone on that.
Right.
In saying that, but so yeah, I mean, it was fun to play the game itself, but being around those guys, I mean, that's what you miss.
And
That's what you can't get.
And I'll tell you this, I watched it in the dugout. Not hardly anybody knew who you were. Some of the guys did, but they gravitated to you. Like you had that persona, and they all wanted to pick your brain. And I saw that even from the guys that played at WSU. They all got around you. They gravitated to you and tried to get some experience from you, which I thought was pretty cool.
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wanted to help. You
Right.
know? I mean, I didn't want to. Obviously, I hadn't played on that team all summer. And, I mean, I'm coming into it. I'm talking to Jake, and I mean, I drove 4 hours on Monday to come play that day. And Jake's like, "Hey, man, they're starting a lefty." Blah blah blah. I'm like, DH somebody else. Like, play somebody else. Like, I don't want to step on anybody's toes right here. So the way those guys embrace me, like, that's all on them. Like, because I mean, it's tough coming to a new team, being that new guy, because you're pissing somebody off.
Right.
And it's like, I got to produce now to to prove
prove,
something.
yeah.
And it's like those guys embraced me, and that was cool. They wanted to pick my brain. I was like,
Yeah.
that's if I can help you in your career, then this is worth it times a million. You know what I mean?
And speaking of that, now you work at you do batting lessons and stuff in Arkansas at a new facility.
So yeah, I just started that.
Right. And so what do you do there? What is it what's behind that new facility
So
concept?
basically what we're doing is it's drive. We talk about driveline. I mean, driveline is obviously the best in the business at what they do, but it's kind of like a smaller scale. This is what I tell people. It's smaller scale. So like we have the best technology you can have. We have hit tracks, in reality, electronic cameras. So our goal is to train kids that way. I mean, using the latest stuff that all the professional teams are using now. So that's kind of like our mission. So it's player development facility is what I'm doing now. So.
Okay. All right. Now that you've been on both sides, coaching now a little bit and playing, how would you compare players in this area or this area here to Arkansas players?
The areas here compared
Yeah.
down there? That's tough. I mean, I would say baseball down there, I would say more people play baseball. I wouldn't say the talent is really different, I guess, but there's just, I don't know what I'm trying to say, I guess. It's pretty similar. It's pretty similar.
Okay.
But I would say there's just
More?
probably more. There's probably more.
Schools are bigger.
schools are bigger. There's just, I feel like it's more baseball down there versus basketball kind of steals some of it here. Football steals more of it here. Not that it doesn't down there, but I feel like baseball kind of is more prioritized, maybe a tad bit more. So talent-wise, I mean, it's pretty similar, but I guess I don't know.
Okay. What advice would you give to younger players now that you've been through it all? What would you tell them that they need to do to continue to follow their dreams from youth to high school to college?
I thought about this a while because I've seen you ask people this, and I was like, I don't want to mess this up. So I came up with there's a lot of things, a lot of things that I could say, but probably the biggest thing is be a good teammate. That sounds cliche, but there's a lot that goes into being a good teammate. Showing up early, showing up on time, holding each other accountable, holding yourself accountable, and then like rooting for other people's success. Like that is so important to me. Like everyone obviously wants to be the guy, okay? Everyone wants to be the guy. And I think you become the guy by just putting your head down and being a good teammate.
Right.
And then you end up going 4-for-4 more times than not, and you're the guy at the end of the day. But if you put your teammates first and you put those guys, like for me it was like, I don't want to be the guy that messes up for those guys. I don't want to be the guy that ruins it for everybody else. So like, in a weird way that's kind of fear motivating that, but like, I didn't want to let those guys down.
Right.
And then that made me work, well, obviously for myself. I wanted to be good for personal reasons. I had goals and stuff I wanted to do, but not letting those guys down was above that. So I think that propelled me, and that's the advice I would give. Just be a good teammate. Be a good teammate.
All right, that's good advice. It really is. So, out of all the players you've ever played with, anyone, any age, who's the most favorite player you ever played with?
Favorite player?
That you ever played with?
Or most talented player? Or favorite?
Someone you enjoyed to play with, the game to play with. You got to walk on the field with that person every day.
Oh man, that's tough.
I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna make some people mad. There's so many guys.
Right.
Favorite person to play with? I gotta give a shout out to my man Jax Biggers.
Okay.
I mean, that's my best friend. He was our shortstop when I was at the U of A. That dude just brought it every single day. And him playing shortstop, like it's fun to watch. And then he's a good teammate, like I said, and then he's fun to play with. He's just a gritty player.
Right.
He went to JUCO too, so we kind of have like similar. I mean, we think the same. So playing with that guy was probably that's probably my favorite player.
Okay. All right. Who's your favorite MLB team?
I'm gonna get some hate for this, but I'm a Yankees guy.
Why are you gonna get some hate for that?
I mean, everyone asks me, I'm like, hold on, I'm a Yankees guy, but hold on. Yeah, I like the Yankees. I grew up a big Derek Jeter fan,
Okay.
so I wore number 2 for the Sluggers,
Yeah.
and until I couldn't anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, my uncle actually lives in New York, so we went to New York games growing up. So I mean, it's not completely bandwagon, but
That's okay. You're not the only person that like the
I
Yankees.
mean, yeah, people are
That's
like,
all right. That's good. So, who was the one MLB player you tried to emulate your game to be? The one player that you looked up to the most? Is it Jeter? Is it somebody else?
I would say Jeter's the guy I looked up to the most. But as far as like emulating my game after, I can't pinpoint one player. And I don't think you should.
Right.
Because so many guys do different things so well. So I mean, and I could get so into this. Like our bodies are not the same as those guys.
Right.
So it's like I want to emulate Fernando Tatis, obviously. But my body doesn't move like Tatis. So like that kind of gets tricky. But looking up to was Jeter, and then obviously I picked different things from different players that kind of fit. I mean, I'm trying things all the time.
Right.
That they do. And I'm like, okay, that works. But I can't go back and say like, yeah, that's the guy that I tried to be like every move.
So you just brought up real quick, trying different things to get better. All players should try to do that. Don't you agree with that? They should all
Absolutely.
try to do. Okay, well, this coach is trying to teach me this. Let me see if this works for me. And it's all about feel at the end of the day. Does that feel right to you?
Absolutely.
You agree with
Oh,
that? So like when
100%.
you're working with your hitters, some hitters are big, strong kids. They need to be hitting for power. Some are smaller guys and need to be hitting for base hit and using their speed. do you try to teach them differently?
Absolutely. It really, and I guess I don't really teach straight mechanics. Like, it's got to look like this. I teach the thought process.
Right.
So it's like, dude, it can look, I don't care how it looks, man. If you're backspinning balls from right field line to left field line, one, it's probably gonna look really good. Two, like, that's what we're trying to do. So like, you don't really learn how to do that until you spend countless hours in the cage trying things out, trying new things, and you're figuring yourself out. So I guess the biggest thing for me to teach is that process, or really just get them to understand how hard this game is,
right,
or how hard it is to hit. So once they understand that, and once they understand like they're really not that good, and I mean that I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but there's a point where you're like, oh man, this is actually really hard. Like, I'm not as good as I thought I was. So then from there, it's like, you know, the work that needs to be done, and it's no days off. It's cliche too, but I mean, in a sense, I mean, that's kind of how it is. Cause there's no pill or magic book that you read, you become a good hitter. I wish there was.
Right.
I'd be giving them out.
You're putting on certain shoes and
Exactly.
You're ready.
It doesn't work like that.
Right.
So I mean, for me as a coach now, it's like, I don't have all the answers, but I did, I'd probably still be playing. You know, so it's like I gotta get them to understand that, man, it ain't all sunshines and rainbows in this cage right now. You're gonna get beat up. That's fine.
You're gonna swing and miss sometimes.
If you could figure that, if you could learn something from that bad swing and learn something from the good swings and then throw it, I mean, that's just how it works.
Right.
Trying things new, figuring yourself out, I mean, that's how you do it. I mean, I'd say that's how you get better.
Okay. Switching subjects on everything here.
Okay.
What does Jared Gate do for a hobby?
The hobby?
Yeah.
I'm out golfing, man. It might warm up today, I might get out there, but yesterday I got out and golfed, and I got a couple hobbies. I like playing ping pong, you know, just I like hanging out with friends. That's a hobby. I'd say the golf course, you got point to one.
Okay.
I'm not good. Well,
Not good?
I'm trying to
What's
get
your
there.
handicap?
Nah, I couldn't even give you a handicap. I might par a hole and then I'll triple the next one. That's where I'm at.
All right. So, what's the most interesting thing about Jared Gates that nobody really knows?
See, I'm still blank on this one. But, most interesting thing that nobody knows.
I'm pretty sure we could make a lifeline call to somebody if somebody can give me something.
We probably could. I don't know if I want to do that though. I might just answer it. Most interesting thing about me. I don't know, man. I mean, I hate to do this in the interview, but I guess something like baseball related. I had no Division I offers out of high school, and so I think that's pretty cool considering where I finished out at.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know. That might be arrogant, but.
No.
I had no Division I offers out of high school, so I guess that kind of leads me to if I had to give more advice, like, it doesn't matter, like, about JUCO, D2, and AI, D1. It doesn't matter, because, I mean, there's good players everywhere, and you know that. So it's like,
yes.
I mean, the fact that I went JUCO, I mean, it could have been I could have been mad at the world, I guess. But it's like, and I feel like people chase, like, D1, they just want to be D1, and they get there and don't really, or they go to the wrong fit, or they don't really do anything. So it's like, none of that stuff really mattered to me in high school even. So it's like, don't be afraid to do a JUCO. Don't be afraid to have a chip on your shoulder. Like, it's not D1 or bust. So,
Right.
I think that's pretty interesting.
Okay. I can tell you this from my own experience being around you, all the years that I was, you're one of the top 10 hardest workers that have ever been through this academy. I can tell you that. That I know for a fact. You were up here as much as I was with my kids, with both my boys, working out every day, no matter what. You were always here. Sometimes you'd be here 2-3 times a day, with your brothers and just trying to get better. That's something that is a lost art that not enough players are doing. I don't know if it's the same in Arkansas or not. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like now, especially the last couple of years, kids make it and they stop working out. They stop trying to get better.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Same thing there.
That's the thing.
So it's not just here, it's everywhere. And like I said, I've asked other people on the show, they say the same thing. You need to continue to work at it, right? You got to get better, because that next level is
you're just never ready for it.
Right.
And it's like, not that kids, I just think that kids have they're just ignorant. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, because I was ignorant too. They're just ignorant at how hard this game really is. And maybe they do know, but they just don't want to really face it or embrace it, because it sucks getting in here and setting that machine up to 95 to 100 and get your thumbs blown up. That sucks. Like, I'd rather just get in here and hit flips and look really good. So like you said, they make it or they commit early, then they think the work's done. No, the work is not even
It's just
started. You haven't even dug a hole yet.
Yeah.
This is where the work's got.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, as a coach, like, me getting that through to kids is probably my biggest task.
Right.
And if I can get that through to them, then I can work with them.
Would you say get them in the weight room as soon as possible too, at a younger age, starting to learn how to lift correctly, baseball wise,
Yes.
speed training, things like that? That's all got to be part of it, not just swinging in the cage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not just the cage is just part of it.
Right.
I mean, I remember I'm thankful. I talked to my dad about this a couple weeks ago. I was like, I mean, because I coach 14-year-olds now, and I'm like, what was it like when I was 14? Like, what did we go do? And
Right.
He's like, well, we were going to personal trainer. We were getting hitting lessons. I mean, we're doing all these things. It's not just 30 minutes a week in here that's gonna make it work. I mean,
Right.
it's a commitment.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot. Commitment's a big word, so it's. I
Can't
wouldn't
take it
say
lightly.
it has to be everything in your life, but I mean, it's a
Right.
commitment.
Well, last question here. MLB The Show. You any good?
Oh yeah, I can turn it on. I haven't played in a little bit, but I can turn it on and I'm back. It's like
Yeah.
riding a bike.
Yeah? What level are you at?
I don't know. What are the levels?
Like I
I'm
play
just
on
on
veteran.
YouTube.
I'm
I'm
a
just on
veteran.
YouTube.
But there's a step above veteran. I'm a veteran, so
You'd probably get me. I'm not
that good.
I'm not like crazy nice for like zone hitting where you put it anywhere in the zone. It's a home. I'm not that. I'm
No,
not
I
like
chase too much.
Yeah, I'm big hacking.
Yeah, big hack, there you go.
Hunting heaters and weird counts.
Yeah.
That game's fun.
Yeah.
I haven't played in a minute, but I can.
Get right back into
I don't
it.
think you embarrass me right
Ah,
now.
there you go. There you go. I don't know. You probably beat me. So.
I don't know.
Well, Jared, I want to thank you again for taking time coming in. And that's going to conclude our show this week in baseball. I want to thank our sponsor today, BST Training. If you needed an extra training online, please give him a call. The number will be posted at the bottom of the show. And again, that concludes the show. Thank you for watching This Week in Baseball.